Hello students. So in today's lecture we are going to start with a new chapter, that is skin, and the skin is considered to be the jack of all trade. What does that means? Skin, the jack of all trade means like skin is a very busy organ. Okay, it is quite indulged with many of the activities of your bodies. Skin performs varieties of function. So skin is one of the important sense organ of our body, and skin is one of the largest organ also at the same period of a time, because it accounts for around 15% of the human weight, okay, of an adult. The skin is the, what is skin? So we will refer to this part then. The skin is the outermost covering of the body. It is stretched all over in the form of a layer. What does that means? See, outermost means outermost means the outside part of the body, okay, and it is stretched in the form of a layer. We have studied a word called stratified epithelium. Word stratified epithelium means what? Stratified means the layer part, and epithelium is the tissue which is present on the upper surface of the skin, okay. uh, and and it is formed in a layer. Why it is formed in a layer, we are going to discuss in the later part of this chapter, so that you come to know what are the different types of the functions of the skin. First, it helps in the protection part, and this is one of the primary function of the skin, because see, it protects you from the shocks, mechanical shocks. It helps to prevent the excessive loss of water by the evaporation. At the same period of times, it helps to prevent any of the disease causing germs inside the body, and it protects you from the UV rays also. See, mechanical shock means what? Mechanical shocks means the shocks, okay, like any damage to the tissue, so it protects up your tissue part. The mechanical shocks. Excessive loss of water by evaporation. See, if your body is going to lose too much of water, so what is going to happen? Your body would become dehydrate, okay. So, and third part, it prevents the entry of the harmful substances. So we all know that part very well. There is a lot of small microorganism that is present in the environment, on the food, water, air, etc, etc, okay. So definitely there is a lot of chance to get inside our body and cause us the diseases. But this skin, because of this skin, we get a protection, because skin is almost impermeable in nature. What does impermeable means? Impermeable means it does not allow the substances to, it does not allow the small microorganisms to enter in. Impermeable means, then it protects you from the UV rays. From where does we get the UV rays? From the sun. The rays of the suns are too dangerous, okay, because it can cause you the skin cancer also. So that is why skin protect you from this kind of a barriers of UV rays. Second, it helps to keep our sensation. Why we feel, see, whenever someone touches us, okay, someone touches her or uh, prick up with the iron nail, so why we do feel this kind of a sensation? Why? The reason is very simple, because our skin consists of vascular system. What does a vascular system means? Vascular system means we have the blood vessels inside our body. So as these blood vessels are present inside our body, it helps to keep up in a sensation. Whenever someone touches or prick us with something pricky objects like iron nail or something other, it helps in the temperature regulations also. Temperature regulation means what? See, during the month during the month of the cold weather, our body helps to push up the temperature, okay, so in order to maintain up a perfect body heat. And during the month of summers, we lose, see, as the outside environment is very hot, so what does we do? We precipitate means what? We lose our water in the form of sweat, so in order to maintain up the cooling regulation. And this answer also we are going to cover now in the second part, okay. shortage of food. Skin also stores reserve food. Okay, some of the person are too healthy, we call them as a obese. So what does their body does? The skin stores up the food. Okay, so that is why they form up the layers of these fats. It also helps in the excretion. See, many of the harmful substances like urea, which are too dangerous. Okay, we have already completed about the digestive system, and we have detailedly studied about the urea, what is urea. So it also helps in eliminating the water, salts, and a very limited amount of extents of urea also from the skin through sweating. Then it also helps in the synthesis of vitamin D. See, the skin can cause synthesis vitamin D. We know that part very well. From the sunshine we get a vitamin D. So whenever the sunshine that falls on our skin is very vital, because it helps to give up the essential nutrient, that is the vitamin D. And too much of this sunshine can also cause your damage. So in a proper amount you should take up the sunlight, as in order to maintain up your skin in a healthier way. And last and very important one, the grip part. What is grip? See, we have many of the ridges and the grooves on our hand, okay, which helps to provide a more efficient grip. Suppose if you have to pick up any of the objects, because of this ridges and grooves also only you can pick up those things. Why? Because if you notice, suppose a palm, okay, so these palms have many linings like this, okay, many lining like this palm part. These are nothing but the dip cuts, which are known as the grooves. And on your finger parts, see, nowadays we are quite equipped with the modern technology, so we know that part very well. There are some of the ridges, okay, like finger lock also, whenever we have to open up your screen lock with your fingers, so there are some of the ridges, okay, on your tip part of your fingers. So this, because of this ridges and grooves, you get an efficient grip. What happens when there is too much of oil on your hand, and if I give you a key to open up the lock, so what is going to happen? You won't be able to open up that lock. The reason is very simple. Why you can't able to open the lock? The reason is because, see, assume like this is a reach, okay, a deep cut depression like this. When there is an oil, so this surface get covered. Now this is a flat surface, okay, suppose this is an oil out here, and now this surface become flat. As this surface become flat, you won't be able to hold up the key. As you won't be able to hold up the key, it is very difficult for you to open up that lock. But in a normal condition, when oil is not there in your hand, because of this depression only, we can easily hold that key and open up the lock. So because of this grip only. Now the structure of the skin. The structure of the skin has been majorly divided into two layers, okay. The first layer is the epidermis, and the second layer is called the dermis layer. What is an epidermis layer and what is an dermis layer? Word epi means upper and dermis means skin. You have often heard this word dermatologist. Dermatologist means a person who deals with your skin related problems, okay. So dermis means the skin and epi means the upper part, and the second part is called the dermis layer. We have more derivatives of the skins also, like in the form of hair, nails, mammary glands, sweat gland, sebaceous gland, okay. Derivatives of the skins means what? That they got derived from the skin, okay. They are the part of the skin. Let's discuss the part called the epidermis first. So epidermis, basically, what is epidermis? As I already said, this is the upper part of the skin, which is the outer thinner part of the skin, okay. It is formed through the stratified epithelium, and we have already discussed what do you mean by stratified. Stratified means layer. Okay. So this epidermis, sorry, have been classified into three parts: cornified layers, granular layers, and the Malpighian layers. This cornified is the uppermost part. This is the outermost part. This is the middle layer. Okay. And this is the innermost. Outer, middle, and inner. The outermost layer cornified. How does this is made up? We will discuss first. It is made up of a dead cells. Dead cells. Okay. And these cells are made up of fibrous structural protein. The special kind of proteins that is present on the cornified layer, that is, the name is very important, keratin. You have already heard about the word keratin in many of the ads and all. Keratin. What is keratin? Keratin is nothing but a natural protein which gives the toughness to parts. Okay. And these keratins are present in nails also, hairs, and many horns, hooves, and silk also. Okay, so basically this cornified layer is made up of a dead cells, and these dead cells get a protection from this protein called keratin. Okay, what is the function of this cornified layer? It helps to protect us from the mechanical damage. What is mechanical damage? Means protecting our tissues. Second, bacterial infection. See, as we have already heard about the word called impermeable. As a skin is very impermeable in nature, it does not allow the bacteria to enter, and it also helps to prevent the loss of water. So loss of water is also prevented by this cornified layers. The second one is the granular layer. What do you mean by the word granular? Granulars means, see, there is not too much of detail, but suppose I assume this is a cornified layer. The second layer is granular. This granular layer is made up of 2 or 3 layers which contain the granules like this. Okay, and it is the middle layer of this part. And the third and the most important one is the Malpighian layer. This third layer, this is second layer, and this is the first layer. Okay, and for layers I am drawing up this line so that you get a perfect conclusion. Here also they are layers only. Okay, Malpighian layer. See, the word Malpighian comes from the word of a scientist. One of the scientists have founded that the outer part of the skin is dead in nature, but not the innermost. This innermost consists of the living cells. Whereas the top and the middle consist of the dead skins, but the innermost is made up of a living cells. So they came to the conclusion out here that this should be also called as the germinative layer. Why germinative layer? Because here we know the production. Okay, we know that's the process. Okay, if there is one cell, it can be divided into 2 cells. 2 cells can form 4 cells. Okay, so it has the perfect dividing qualities. So that is why it is also called as the germinative layer, because there are more of the active cells present in this layer, and which helps to produce these new cells which press and shift outward to replace the worn out cells. And there is one more important pigment that is present out here. What do you mean by word pigment? Pigment means which helps to impart of the color. The name of this pigment is melanin. What is now melanin? It's a pigment, okay, which helps to impart of the color to your skin, okay, your face complexion. Let's take an example. See, we know that part very well. There are 2 types of races. One is black and the other one is the white one. Black and white. And now we come to the word called melanin. if there is too much of melanin, so the person would be black. But if there is a less amount of melanin, the person will be white in color. White means fair. Okay, see, where do we often find up this black colors? In the African region or in the US region where the West Indian lives. Okay, in their body they have the too much of melanin because they are quite exposed to the sunlight, so that is why their body color is quite blackish in nature. But whereas in the European continents, okay, British type climate and all, the amount of the melanin is very less, so due to this they do have the whitish color. Now we are going to cover the second important part, that is the dermis. What is a dermis? Dermis is the layer which starts after the completion of the epidermis layer, and it is the inner thick layer, and this is made up of a connective tissues. Okay, this is tough, but at the same period of a time this is flexible also, because they are made up of this connective tissues. Okay, we have often seen, see, our body is distributed through the skin. Okay, the skin is distributed all around the body, but they have been classified again into two types, a thick skin and a thin skin. Where do you often found out the thick skin? On the palm and soles, and thin skins you will find in the eyelids. So due to this dermis only, we get some of the part as the tough skin and some as the thin skin. So this dermis is quite very responsible for the toughness and the thinness of the skin. This dermis is one of the important because it contains many structures, like it contains your blood vessels, it contains your nerve fibers, it contains your follicles, hair follicles, sweat glands, etc. We are going to discuss them in detail right now. Okay, now second point, it says the outer region of the dermis, which lies next to the epidermis, is raised into a numerous small process called papilla. See, understand like this. Suppose this is a epidermis, this is a dermis, D and ED. ED means epidermis. Okay, in between there is one layer. Okay, like this layers kind of a thing. They are called as the papilla. Why they are called as the papillae? Because they consist of your blood capillaries and the nerve endings. Blood capillaries and nerve endings means what? There is the blood vessels which gets project out from this dermis part. Okay, this is the dermis part, and there is a blood vessels which get project out. So that is why you can easily fill up when someone touches you. Okay, and it also cause up the pain sensation at the same period of a time. So your dermis layer is very sensitive to touch, pain, pressure, heat, cold. Okay, why? Because of this papillae. Now we will look toward this structure. Now see, this above part is called the epidermis. This part is called the dermis layer, and between this epidermis and dermis there is a layer called the papilla. See this structure. Okay, this layer, papillae, and this consists of highly the blood vessels. Now the lower end, this part, this lower end here, which I am shading out here, this is nothing but your fat layer. Okay, again this is beneath the dermis. Okay, when the dermis gets end, there is one more layer that start, and this is nothing but it is called the subcutaneous fat. What do you mean by the word subcutaneous fat? Means here the food get reserved, and it also helps in protecting you from the heat. Okay, more the skin, more the fats on your skin, more the protection from the heat. So that is why the fat peoples does not feel too cold, but a person who's quite thin get get a perfect sensation of the cool. Okay. Okay, now we are going to discuss regarding the two abnormal conditions of the skin pigmentation. What are these two abnormal condition? First is the leukoderma, and the second one is the albinism. Leukoderma is also called as the vitiligo. Vitiligo or leukoderma. The word leuko means white, and derma means nothing but the skin, white skin. Okay, you have often seen some of the people, they have lose their pigmentation. Okay, pigmentation means the melanin. Okay, in their body the melanin is not evenly distributed. Some part of the skin is white, some part they have a normal color. You have seen these persons. Okay, so basically leukoderma means half part. Okay, half part is white of the body, and the other half is a normal color of their body, but it is in the form of the patches. Okay, the second part is the albinism. Albinism means complete loss of pigmentation. Again, this is same, complete loss. In leukoderma it is an incomplete loss. Okay, in leukoderma it is an incomplete loss, and albinism this is a complete loss. When a body lose complete pigmentations from their body, the person is fully white. Okay, fully white. You have seen this kind of a person as well. Leukoderma means what? They have the white skin but on the patchy side, but in albinisms they are completely white. Why they are completely white? Because the reason is very simple, because they have lost their full pigmentation. Means in their body the pigment melanin is absent, so that is why their body color is white. Now derivatives of skins. So we have already discussed what do you mean by the word derivatives. Derivatives means the special structures which get derived from the skin part. Okay, hair, nails, sebaceous glands, sweat glands, and mammary glands. We will discuss one by one. First, let's come to this hair part. This is a hair shaft. Okay, which gets projected from the skin, and this is slightly below the epidermis of this, below the surface of this epidermis. See this shaft, we know this part, this upper part is called epidermis, the lower part is called dermis, but the part which gets project out from the epidermis, it's called nothing but the shaft. Okay, basically nothing but your hairs. Okay, now we will see the next part, that is the hair root. So where is hair root present? It is embedded within the dermis. Okay, this is the root hair parts. This root hair, the lower part forms a bulb kind structure called the hair bulb. See here, this is nothing but the hair bulb. Okay, hair bulb, and this contains a lot of hair papilla. What does hair papilla? Papilla means what? That it is supplied with the blood vessels. Then as we know, okay, what is hair root? Hair root is the part within the dermis layer, and this is enclosed by a structure called a hair follicle. See here, hair follicle is there here. Okay, this hair follicle. This is the root part. This is the root part. This is the shaft part. Okay, I'm making it a division. This is the shaft. This is the root part. The protective cover is called the follicle. The lower end bulb kind of a structure is called hair bulb, and there are many blood vessels, so it is called hair papilla. Sebaceous gland and erector pile is very important as well. So we have seen in different region peoples have the different hair colors. Okay, we have seen blonde hairs, brown hairs. Okay, we have seen black hairs, white hairs. Why there is a too much of varieties in the colors of hairs? In skin color we have only two colors, that is black or either a white or a whitish. Whitish means a mixture of a black and a white. But in hair there are too much of colors. Why? Because again a pigment that is present inside your hair also, the name of that is melanin. Okay, uh, see, when we grow old, so if suppose any of the person who has a black hair or any of the other colors, but it eventually get convert into a silvery color. Okay, silvery or a grayish color which is quite white in nature. Why? Because they lose their pigments. Okay, why we lose their pigments? Due to the air spaces. The air spaces, there is a too much of air spaces that get formed in your body, sorry, on your head side, and due to this we lose our pigments. So that is why our hair becomes white. Now a very important fact we will understand. Whenever we see any of the horror movies, so automatically after some period of a time, if it is too much of horror, it causes the goose flesh. Okay, goosebumps also we call it as. Why the hair, okay, which was quite sleepy in nature, get easily erected? Because of this erector pile muscles. Here erector pile means what? This are the, see, this erector pile, this, they are connected to this hair. They are connected with this hair. So during winters or any of the emotions or any of the horror movies, this muscles get contracted, and due to this the hair positions get straight. The contraction of this muscles at one end pulls the head to somewhat in a vertical position. Okay, and hair is also provides sensation of touch because nerve fibers are extended up to their base. If suppose someone is pulling your hair, okay, you can easily feel that part. Why you can easily feel that part? Because your, as we have already discussed, your whole hair, the base part of your hair is called the hair papilla, which consists of your blood vessels. So whenever anyone touches your hair or pulls, so at that period of time this nerve vessels, okay, start to get contract and relax very fast. So that is why you can feel of these sensations. Now the next derivative, that is the nails. What are the nails? Nails are the hardened carinaceous plate like structure which grows as a dead cells from the root hairs, nail roots, which lies below the skin at the base. See, they are the hardened keratinaceous. Keratinaceous means what? They highly consist of a proteins called the keratin. Okay, we, as we know, our nails are white in color. Okay, our nails are white in color. So, and this is the harder part also at the same period of a time. See, many structures have been given out here, but we are going to discuss only the nail plate, matrix, and the nail bed, and the rest of these are not is in your part of the syllabus. Okay, only three parts we are going to discuss. What is a plate? Plate is the hard and the outer part of the nail which is white in color, and it is made up of dead cells, and these dead cells have been provided a protein called a keratin. So this nail part, so due to this keratin, it makes it looks very tougher. Second part is your bed. Okay, where this bed lies just below the nail plate, below, okay, on the lower surface bed. So that is why this bed is also called as the root part, okay, nails root part. And the third one is the matrix. Where is this matrix lies now? Okay, this matrix, see, it lies just below the skin surfaces. Now assume this figure perfectly. This is somewhat like this, okay, but the lower end, okay, lower end, which is inside, which is just below the skin surface at a base of your nail, this is nothing but the matrix, okay, and it appears as the half moon, like this whitish half moon at the base of the nail. Okay, so what is the function of this matrix? It produces, see, the function of this matrix is very important. See, it produces the new cells which on maturation push the older cells toward the tip of the nail, and so that is why there is a growth of the nail. Means basically in an easier language, if you watch this matrix part, so we can see these small parts. What are these small parts? These are nothing but the cells, okay. See, what does the function of this matrix is? They produce the new cells, and due to this part becomes automatically rise. See, they change their structure. Suppose now this is too much of matrix out here, and due to this your nails become big. The matrix is very important. It basically gives the growth of the nail. Now sebaceous glands. Sebaceous glands are nothing but they give you the oily secretion. Word sebaceous comes from the word called sebum. Okay, what does sebum means? Sebum means oily. Okay, in teenagers or adolescent, our skin starts to become too oily. The reason is very simple, because when we reach at this age, okay, so our body releases of too much of oil. Okay, too much of oil is called sebum, and due to this our skin becomes very oily. So that is why in teenagers age you often find these three difficult problems to face: pimples, acne and blackheads. What is the cause of this pimples? See, so we know that part. Our skin consists of the pores, small pores, small pores. We know that part. Suppose this is the root hair, which is quite attached with this sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland, because they have word given as a gland, because they helps to secrete up this oiliness. This sebaceous gland secretes the oil. They get transport here. They comes toward the hair and forms on your skin part. Okay, they comes. See, the oil gets secreted from this region, and from this region it goes into your hair, and the oil get collected on the topward part of this, and that is why there is a cause called pimples. See, when the oil gets collected out here, so the bacteria which are present in the atmosphere, suppose here, okay, they acts on this oil, okay, because they derive this nutrition from this part, and as they derive this nutrition, they goes inside their body. Okay, as they goes inside their body, they forms into a formation of a boils or a pimples. The second reason is the acne. Acne is the sebaceous gland which gets inflamed due to the hormonal influence. Okay, see, during this teenagers or the adolescent, you feel many of this problem like acne, pimples and all. Pimples are nothing but the boils part. Okay, But in acne, your whole skin becomes red. Okay, this is called the acne, and this is also due to some hormonal problems also. Hormonal problems also. When there is a too much of secretion, your face becomes fully filled with this acne part. Okay, and blackheads. Blackheads. So where does this how does this blackheads get formed? See, due to, we know that part, we have a melanin which helps to give us the color, and with the presence of the sebum, when melanin and sebums both act together, they give a color, that is a black color. So that is why they have given a name called the blackhead. So when there is a too much of enlargement of the sebaceous gland, the sebums get accumulated out there, and on this the melanin acts. So that is why there is a condition called the blackheads. Now sweat glands. So sweat gland, see, sebaceous gland will secrete sebum, which means oil. Sweat glands would secrete sweat, as the name suggests out here. There are many pores, okay, due to which the sweats gets excrete out. Okay, but this numbers keeps on varying. Okay, this number keeps on varying around 60 to 80 square per square meter is on your back part, and around 400 per square centimeter are on your palms. Okay, so when there is a too much of sweat, so we have often seen the weightlifters, before lifting up the weight, they apply some of the powders on their hand. Why they apply some of the powders on your hand? So that there should not be too much of sweat on their hand. Okay, because if there is a too much of sweat on their hand, so they won't be able to lift. No, they won't get a proper friction and all. So they apply this powders so that they lose their sweatness, and then they pick up that weights. So same like that, palms have a lot amount of a sweat pores. Okay, they have around more amount of the sweat pores, and due to this the weightlifters often, when applying up the when lifting up the weight, they apply the powders on your hands. And what does your sweat consist of? It consists of salt, water, and urea. So your sweat, see, we drink water, but water is tasteless, but there is sufficient amount of salt that is present in our body. So that is why our sweat is saltish, because there is a mixture of a water plus some of the salts which are present in your body. And urea is nothing but the waste which should be excreted out. And how does this get excreted out? Through sweating part. Okay, and this sweat is one of the important factors for maintaining up the heat also. When there is a too much of sweat, means your body is giving you a cooling effect. Now next, mammary glands. Mammary glands are nothing but they are the modified sweat glands. Okay, what are they? They are the modified sweat glands. Now these sweat glands are present in both males and females, but in male it persists only in the rudimentary state. Mammary glands, the function of this mammary gland is to give milk. So now it is very obvious, these glands are present in both male and female, but in male it persists in the rudimentary state only. Rudimentary state means at a very early stage. Okay, but when the age of the puberty comes, so in females at that period of a time, there is an enlargement in the form of the pairs of the breast, and due to this due to this there can be a secretion of the milk in the females. Okay, and but this mammary glands helps to store up the milk and secrete out the milk, but when only at the ages of the reproductive. Okay, when there is a proper reproductive age. Okay, after the pregnancy only it becomes that activate. Meibomian glands, they are the modified sebaceous glands. Again, they are modified part. Modified means the changes part. Okay, they are present on the margin of the eyelids. What is the function of this meibomian glands? Their function is to secrete oil, and it also serves to lubricate the margin of the eyelids. So that is why your eyes does not become dry, because this meibomian glands always promotes the oily secretion and helps to lubricate the lids. Okay, and it also helps to prevent the overflow of tears when there is a too much of tears in your eye. So to prevent this overflow, this meibomian glands comes to an act. Ceruminaceous gland, again they are the modified sebaceous gland, and they are formed in the auditory canal. Auditory canal means the ears part. They secrete a wax substances called cerumen or the earwax. Okay, what is the function of this? They helps in the lubrication, and it also helps to protect the delicate organ, that is the eardrum. Okay, from the dust particle and the germs. As we know that part very well, there are too much of microorganisms that are present, and ears holes are very open, so they can easily enter and they can cause you disease. But due to this ceruminaceous glands, the waxy substance which are present on the auditory canals helps to prevent the bacteria, the entries of the bacteria. So that is why this is very important glands also. Now this is very general knowledge part. Why body temperature is usually around 37 degrees Celsius? Okay, the reason is very simple, because at this temperature there is a perfect actions of the enzymes. There are the perfect actions of the enzymes which could take place. See, if your body temperature increases, so it can cause you fever or sickness. Okay, and if your body temperature gets fall, then too it's a problem. Okay, it may be dangerous for you, because at this temperature your digestion won't be occurring. Why digestion won't be occurring? Because the enzymes work best at this 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, now thermoregulation. So we are going to discuss two types of regulation. First is the ecto, and the second one is the endothermic. See, endothermic we have already studied. Endo means what? In, and thermal means heat. The heat generated from the inside. The heat generated from the inside is called the endothermal. Okay. Usually mammals, like humans especially, we are called as the warm-blooded part. Endothermals are also called as the warm-blooded. Why they are called as the warm-blooded? Because they do not fluctuate their body temperature. Okay, they do not fluctuate their body temperature. They maintain up their body temperature at 37 degrees Celsius, because the heat which is generated is from inside. Why it is from inside? In order to experience the environmental part. If the environment is too cold, the heat would be generated more. But if the outside temperature is too hot, then the inner part would be cool. So it helps to regulate those part. Now the first one, ecto. Endo means within, ecto means out. Okay, so they are also called as the cold-blooded animals. They are also called as the cold-blooded animals. Why they are called as the cold-blooded animals? We humans, cannot change our body temperature, but there are some organisms, okay, there are some organisms who can change their, they can change their body temperature, okay, they can fluctuate with the environmental temperature. So they have been classified into two parts. You have already heard about this word, hibernates and estivates. Hibernates are those who goes in a winter sleep, okay, hibernates are those animals who goes for a winter sleep. Means what, they are not activated in the months of winter, who hibernate. Like example, bats, bears, okay, because they are not used to this winter condition, okay, they need a bit hot temperature in order to survive. But estivates are those who goes in a summer sleep. Summer sleep means what, during the month of summer the temperature is too hot, but their body is not used to those temperature, okay. What would be the examples? See, in the month of the summers and all, you won't be seeing earthworms, crocodiles, okay, frogs also, who are the amphibians, you won't be able to see them. In hibernations, there are bats and bears. So ectothermals are also called as the cold-blooded, and they have a special name, substituted word out there, that is poikilothermal. Poikilothermal. And endothermal has the special word called the homeothermal. Homeo means same, and poikilo means varying. Varying means changing. Varying means changing because they can regulate their body temperature, and homeo means the same. Now heat production. So how does the heat gets produced? Okay, through the chemical reaction occurs in a body cell. In an easier language we can understand aerobic respiration. Through aerobic respiration they can produce a lot of heat, because we know that reaction glucose comes in the presence of oxygen, releases carbon dioxide, water and heat. Then vigorous activities, like too much of activities, okay, whenever we do too much of physical work and all, so at that period of a time our body feels warm because we are releasing too much of heat. Whenever we ingest hot foods and beverages, okay, suppose a hot food which is kept on the plate and you suddenly eat that part, so you, at that period of a time there is a too much of heat production from your body. Heat loss, okay, through skin, through lungs, urine, feces and food. Skin, why? For sweating part, okay, heat loss. When there is a too much of heat in your body, at that period of a time you have to lose some of the heat. Why? In the form of sweat. So in order to maintain the coolness, and at the same period of a time in order to maintain up your body temperature. Through lungs also, we know that part, whenever we breathe in or breathe out, the organ which takes place is the lungs, okay. Then urine and the feces, why this substance are eliminated at the body temperature, okay. Suppose urine and feces are considered to be too hot, okay, they can increase up your body temperature. So what we should do, we urinate, or feces means the waste, okay, undigested part of your body gets excrete out, so that you can maintain up your body temperature. And food, see, there was an example in heat production was related to hot foods. Here cold beverages or cold food. Now the, see, we have studied about the heat production and the heat loss, but there is a principal heat regulating center, okay. What is the name of that? That is hypothalamus. What is the function of this This function of this hypothalamus is to regulate the body temperature. Okay, it helps in the regulation of the body temperature. Okay, and this is the only organ which helps to control the pituitary gland also. Okay, when there is a too much of heat or too much of cold, this hypothalamus comes into an act and helps to maintain up your body temperature around 37 degrees Celsius. So you can understand like this also, okay, it works as a switch. Okay, now vasoconstriction and vasodilation. Vasoconstriction occurs during the month of the cold weathers. See, during cold weathers, okay, during cold weathers, your skin, the skin of a person is pale or bluish. Okay, why the skin of the person is pale or bluish in color? Because there is not too much of supply of the blood to the skin. So that is why your body, your face color becomes pale or bluish in nature. Why? Let's understand by simple. This is an artery, and this arteriole got constricted. See, constricted means what? The size of this becomes very less, like this. So that is why the size of the arterioles become constricted, because there is a less amount of the blood flows in the capillaries, and arteries here are thicker in nature. Arteries are thicker in nature and the arterioles are narrow in nature. As the arteries are thicker in nature and the arterioles are thinner in nature, it supplies a less amount of blood towards the skin. So that is why often in the cold weathers the skin becomes pale or bluish, because there is an reduced amount of the blood supplied to the skin. Because at the period of a time, see, it does not provide the blood to the skin, but it helps in the metabolic activity, or it helps in the muscular activity. Here exactly reverse, vasodilation. See, word vaso means related to vascular system. Vascular system means your blood vessels, and dilation means to get big. Okay, relaxation. Here if you notice, see, the lower part is very thin in nature. Okay, the artery is very thinner in nature, but as this is thinner, the arterioles got dilated. Arterioles get dilated. Dilated means what? Relax, matlab big. So it can release too much of heat. Okay, see, in summer season your skin is bit reddish in color. Why your skin is bit reddish in color? Because there is a too much of supply of blood towards your skin. As there is a too much of supply of blood towards your skin, so now what is going to happen? You would release much amount of heat. Okay, as you are going to release much amount of heat, your skin would become red. Okay, so here the lower end is small and the upper end is big in nature. So that is why there is a two reverse condition. In vasoconstriction, the upper parts are narrow, okay, means constricted, and here vasodilation, and vasodilation condition occurs in the hot weather. Now a last concept, heat stroke. What is a heat stroke? Or heat stroke can also be called as a sunstroke. See, this is a condition in which the sweat production is unable to keep the pace with the evaporation in the very hot winds. Means, see, suppose when we play in hot weathers, so what our body does? Our body releases too much of sweat. Okay, why they release too much of sweat? In order to maintain up the body temperature and in order to keep up the pace with the evaporation. Okay, but what is going to happen if we don't lose the water in the form of the sweat? So what is going to happen at that period of a time when we don't lose too much of water, okay, sorry, when we don't lose too much of water in the form of the sweat uh, in the hot weather conditions. So at that period of a time our body temperature automatically rises up. As the body temperature becomes rises up, we can get fever, and due to this fever it can be a fatal one also. Fatal one means it can release to some serious related problems. Okay, so that is why we often have seen this part, our parents always keeps on advising us to drink a lot of water, okay, during the month of summers. Why? In order to maintain up our body temperature, okay. And if a person gets a sunstroke or a heat stroke, so how should we cure that person immediately? By giving a lot of water first, and tell him to take a more salt, more amount of salt and more amount of water can really good for the person who is facing a trouble of heat stroke or a sunstroke. So thank you students. This was a chapter, skin, the jack of all trades, and we have completed this chapter.